Stop scrolling after you've made your choice. This isn't a drill. What I'm going to tell will shake you. And it's intended to, because your life relies on it. Understand what you're witnessing right now. It's not an accident. You have been divinely directed here. God is speaking loudly and clearly at this hour. And He's shouting, take cover. Go into hiding. Bunkers, shelters, isolation, and security. You must prepare, not out of fear, but out of obedience. The moment is no longer approaching. It is here. The shaking has started. Spiritual, physical, and global. The world's systems are crumbling. Only those who are selected, obedient, and spiritually aware will know what to do next. This is your last warning before the next phase begins. Everything you felt in your soul, the tension, the hurry, and the invitation to stand back. It was God's voice preparing you. You're moving from exposure to heavenly protection. You are not hidden to be forgotten. You are being concealed to prepare for what comes after the storm. But do not miss this. You must align immediately. This message has prophetic weight. And if you sense a burning in your breast or a pressure in your spirit, that is confirmation. This is for you. Before we continue, stop the movie and complete 3 tasks. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the remnant that refuses to sleep at this hour, and leave a remark. If your spirit gives testimony, that number represents your covenant of divine fulfillment and protection. Only those who are spiritually aware will complete this video. If you are not prepared to hear the truth, you will click away. But for the really chosen ones, this word will burst bonds, open eyes, and spark instructions that will actually save their lives. Stay with me. We're about to explain what's truly going on, what's coming up, and what God wants us to do next. Time is up. Let we begin. The world watches the news and sees missiles. Politicians quarrel, experts debate, and the general public scrolls over news as if another day in history was occurring. But listen to me now. This isn't simply war. This is not merely a fight between states. What started between Iran and Israel was the igniting of something gigantic, everlasting, and spiritual. We are no longer dealing with human-centered politics. We are approaching the judgment of the Spirit. This represents the ripping of a veil. A doorway has opened, and not everything that comes through it will be bright. This is not a conspiracy. This is a prophecy. Those with spiritual sight experience it. There is pressure in the air, a trembling of the Spirit, a frequency that no longer seems familiar. Something deep inside your being is raising the alert. That's because the conflict on earth is just a mirror of the fight in heaven. It has officially touched down. This is a heavenly alert. The spiritual warfare has started. Instead of apparent trumpets and angels, there are vibrations, emotions, and unseen energies, now enabled across dimensions. This isn't about countries. This is about bringing your spirit into balance. The earth and heaven are both trembling. What will you do next? We'll decide if you are safe or washed away. You aren't simply hearing things. You're not just being paranoid. You are feeling the pull of the Most High, drawing you within to conceal. Now, not in fear, but with trust. This is the last instruction before exposure starts. The world is poised to enter a period in which only the spiritually concealed will stay at home. Those who remain emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually vulnerable will experience storms that they are unprepared to bear. I understand you desire to assist people. I understand you feel compelled to express the truth, but please hear me clearly. Even warriors must retire to the mountains before returning with fire. The adversary knows who the selected are, and right now, the selected are being pursued not with firearms, but with diversions, tiredness, spiritual illness, and emotional breakdown. If you don't hide immediately, you won't make it through the following wave alive. When God says hide, He is not leaving you. He's positioning you. This isn't exile. This is exodus. The spiritual sickness is starting to spread everywhere. Minds, media, emotions, and settings. If you desire clarity, power, vision, and safety, you must follow. You must dissolve into the holy quiet. You must become invisible in the darkness and apparent only in the light. Look deeper. The rockets you see on displays are only one layer. The ultimate invasion has already begun in the spiritual world. It is unseen, but its consequences will be felt everywhere in mental breakdowns, unusual illnesses, family divides, and emotional sorrow. We are not entering a war zone. We're already within it. The sole question is, have you spiritually evacuated? The world won't give you time. It will continue to push diversions, pleasures, conflicts, and temptations. It will induce you to postpone your preparations. But God is making an urgent summons. Leave now, not physically, but emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. Step away from the frequency of this faulty system. Turn the sounds off. Come to the woods. This isn't the time to be inquisitive. This is the hour to be covered. If you spend too much time in Babylon, it will engulf you. This is an evacuation notification. Take your soul, concentration, and spirit, and escape the world's conflict zone. Go there where God lives. The days ahead will make today seem like the quiet before the storm. Obeying now will result in becoming caught up in what occurs after. You do not need a physical bunker built of steel. You need a spiritual refuge, a fortress of calm inside yourself. You must establish a place in which no energy can enter unless it is divine. This is your only means of escape right now, not via money, reasoning, or strength. Only spiritual architecture can allow you to withstand what is ahead. How do you create it? With prayer and fasting, with quietness, with a holy emphasis. You do not require bricks. You need obedience. You do not need any materials. You need to surrender. The bunker is not located outside of you. It is within you, but it must be sealed, secured, and guarded. It must become a location where God's presence is so strong that no weapon made against you can enter. Do not postpone this construction. Every day you wait, your energy becomes more exposed. War created gateways that unleashed havoc over the planet's emotional field. People have already started snapping. Anxiety is increasing. Confusion is increasing. And those that survive will not be the loudest. They'll be the ones who vanish into holy protection before the storm hits full force. The spiritual bunker is not constructed with wood or wires. It all starts with a choice, a strong personal proclamation that you are no longer susceptible to the craziness of this world. Step 1 is separation. Cutting links with the noise, uncertainty, and fear broadcasting channels, as well as the talks that deplete your light. You must unplug before reconnecting. You must leave the throng to discover the cloud of God's presence. Step 2 is cleaning. Toxins cannot be carried into your holy place. Not emotional pollutants, nor spiritual perplexity. No bitterness or distractions. Make sure your area is clean. Clean your heart. Clean your phone. Remove everything that weakens you. Invite in what heals you. Speak up loudly. This area is for the divine. This place is just for darkness. Burn incense. Anoint your door. Set limits for your time and energy. You are reinforcing the gates to your soul. Step 3 is dedication. Daily quiet. Deep prayer. Meditation. Not for relaxation, but for readjustment. Begin communicating with God in the private place. Journal. What do you hear? Keep a spiritual lock. Not the world's happenings, but heaven's whispers. God, your attention is like gold. Every minute spent with God is another brick in your bunker. Every distraction averted provides a ray of safety. This is your holy architecture. Build it now. There is a new vibe sweeping the planet. And it's not gentle. It is crisp. It's hefty. It's destabilizing. Everything that is not based on truth. Do you feel it? The abrupt exhaustion, the inner turmoil, the way talk seems strange, how crowds drain you, and how regular activities suddenly feel spiritually tainted. That is not imagination. That is a shift in frequency. It is not safe to stay exposed. This world operates on illusions, but suddenly those illusions are crumbling. And when they do, they expel spiritual pollutants. You must disengage from the media that undermines your faith, from the applications that divert your attention, and from the narratives that keep your nervous system hooked to fear and control. The more you remain hooked in, the weaker your soul grows. And the knowledgeable will not win this struggle. Rather, the aligned will. It is time to become more purposeful with each moment. This is not isolation. So, this is insulation. You are not retreating in defeat. You are rising in discernment while the world experiences the apocalypse. You will be anchored in serenity, solitude, and spiritual clarity. That is how you endure both the present and the future. Look around. Everything is racing up, but not for growth. System failures occur during a collapse. Minds are unraveling. False light is flickering. The world is becoming a trap. The UN has awoke. It captures your attention, drains your delight, depletes your tranquility, and then provides no resolution. It wants you to be distracted. It wants to beat you. But you selected one. We're not designed for the trap. You were meant for the secret spot. The concealed aren't weak. They're smart. Wilderness is not a punishment. It provides protection. God concealed Moses. God concealed Elijah. God concealed Jesus. So why isn't he hiding you now? What's coming isn't for everyone's eyes. It will devastate the unprepared. It will unravel the too exposed. Only the concealed will have the clarity, calm, and strength to stay unshaken. You must go where others are unable to follow. This denotes divine beats. That entails internal discipline. That involves letting up of the need to be seen, loved, or heard. You're being called to spiritual stealth, not to vanish, but to live. Because, as the dust settles, the hidden ones will rise and rebuild. This is a harsh reality. Most folks are not prepared, not psychologically or emotionally, and definitely not spiritually. They live with misleading lights, frail identities, and superficial convictions. When the energy surge intensifies, as it will, they will be caught off guard, bewildered, enraged, and immobilized by dread. The breakdown will be quiet at first, then it became louder, then worldwide. But the selected, those who follow the still little voice, will be different. We shall not be unaffected, but we'll be covered. Grace protects me, covered by divine teaching, covered by the spiritual bunker we've constructed inside. Where others see collapse, when others panic, we will have a sense of direction. We'll be grounded in presence. This is not about supremacy. This is about surrendering. It is not about ego. It's about obeying. You weren't picked because you're flawless. You were picked because you listened. God doesn't need perfection. He needs people who are willing to relocate. When he says move, hide. When he says hide and construct. When he says build. And if you are reading this, it is you. Portals are not only science fiction. They're genuine. And every act of war, every explosion, every harsh vibration rips holes in the spiritual environment. These are access locations for chaotic forces. Emotion is both electric and evil. You do not have to be in the Middle East to experience them. If you are sensitive, you are already experiencing the invasion. So, how do you lock your energy? First, with purpose, you must establish the limit out loud. Every day, we repeat that no energy may enter this area unless it bears God's light. Speak it, announce it, and own it, followed by ceremonial prayer, sound, anointing, and spiritual purification. Transform your house into a fortress, not paranoid, but protected, not terrified, but alert. Finally, avoid misunderstanding. That entails protecting your emotional gates. Do not indulge in drama. Don't fight fights that are not your own. Do not accept burdens that were not given from above. Every time you participate in low-frequency chaos, you widen the gate. Seal it. Your holy ground. And you must safeguard what heaven has put inside you. There are symptoms that the physical body experiences. Then there are spiritual indications that contemporary science cannot detect. But shout loudly in your soul when darkness is unleashed by war and anarchy. It does not merely remain in the conflict zone. It spreads. It passes via fear, media, sound, vibration, and the sensitive ones. Feel it first. You have been experiencing it. And here are 5 indicators. You have been targeted. Heavy emotions. Without explanation. It feels like sadness or fear, but you can't locate the source. This is not your feeling. It is spiritual weight, ranging from violence open gateways to abrupt tiredness or mental fog that persists long after rest. Your spiritual realm is being depleted. 3. Strange discomfort or bodily tension, particularly in the head, chest, and stomach. Places with spiritual vitality. irritability, and conflict in your household or relationships. Confusion is given to dilute your attention. 5 nighttime disruptions, chaotic dreams, loud thoughts around midnight, or a strong presence in your sleep. If you see these indicators, don't disregard them. Don't medicate what needs spiritual cleansing. You're not broken. You are under spiritual assault because of your brightness. That's why this season requires your undivided focus. You aren't being punished. You are being targeted because you were picked. But if you follow heavenly instructions, you will triumph. Your house is more than simply a structure. It is a gateway to a spiritual world, a place where either serenity or agony will reside. If your house is not sealed and is not filled with divine purpose, it becomes a playground for frequencies and spirits that you cannot see. More than ever, your actual location must be transformed into a light fortress. Begin with the mood. Clean the air. Open the windows. Burn incense. Anoint the doors with oil. Speak scripture or truth above every barrier. Declare that this home is sacred ground. Speak life over the rooms. Speak peace in the corners. Clear anything related to misunderstanding or compromise. Television programs, musical instruments, and even persons. Anything that causes your spirit to feel heavy must depart. Then, safeguard the energy. Play high-frequency music. Schedule prayer times. Set aside a spot for meditation. Keep your house from being a source of distraction. Turn off the ambient sounds of the world. When your house serves as a stronghold, increase God's presence. No matter what happens outside, you'll stay planted, clear, and safe. You do not have to be a priest or a guru to purify your area. You just need to be deliberate and surrendered. Here's a step-by-step guide for doing it right now. This is spiritual hygiene to ensure divine survival. First, clean, physically dust, and remove debris. They are more than simply visual messes. They attract spiritual energy that has become stagnant. As you cleanse the visible, you create an energy flow for the unseen second cleaning. Burn sage or incense. Play praise music or healing sounds. Light a candle and pray loudly for each room. Say that only the light of God may live here. Everyone else must escape. Third, go to each door and window and say a blessing over them. Anoint with oil. If you believe this threshold belongs to the divine, chaos may not pass through. Finally, fortify. This is regular maintenance. Each day begins with prayer. Every night, close with protection. Keep your vibration up. Keep your place holy. Your home is more than simply a place to live. It's where your spirit lives. This is not intended to terrify you. It serves as a warning when God instructs you to keep covered. It is not a metaphor. It's about survival. If you go outside of His instructions and into the environment, you are not called to enter relationships. You haven't detected energies that you haven't prayed for. You risk being subjected to forces that will brand you. Not all of them are simple to shrug off. There are current frequencies that do more than merely confuse you. They rewire you. The spiritual climate is fraught with violence, discord, and deceit. It's like entering a war barefoot. You may return, but it will not be the same. Your lucidity may be taken. Your delight may be diminished. Your aim may be obscured. Obedience is not about being in control. It's all about protection. This is a precious warning from heaven. Do not put God's grace to the test at this hour. Do not seek validation of attention or temptation outside of the context of divine teaching. If He says remain in, then stay in. If He says quickly, He means fast. If He says disappear, disappear. Because what is beyond the covering is not worth the cost to your soul. A vast split is currently developing, not between wealthy and poor, not between believer and non-believer. The true distinction is between those who are awake and those who are sleeping, those who are spiritually veiled in obedient soup, as well as those who are vulnerable to the world's clamor and deception. You can feel it, right? The split has started. God isn't playing games at this hour. He isn't asking. He is moving. And those that listen, those who responded, those who submit, they're being sealed, protected, anointed, not to leave the world, but to lead it when it has collapsed. These are the unseen fighters. the ones the world will not see today, but will need later. You are not invisible. Rather, you are forgotten. You are hiding because you are holy. Meanwhile, the sleepers, they celebrate despite the storm. They ridicule spirituality. They live for diversion. And when the collapse occurs, they will search for light. But by then, the doors will be closed. Don't envy their ease. Don't imitate their tardiness. You have not been called to fit in. You are called to strengthen. Prepare to ascend. Allow this truth to sear into your spirit. The fall does not signify the end. It's the beginning. This is a wonderful exam. The sacred reckoning. Spiritual sorting. Human systems will fail. The institutions will tremble. However, those who sincerely comply will not be buried. They shall rise. They will rise not by revolt or force, but through harmony with the divine. Obedience is the new superpower. In a world in which everything is crumbling down, those who follow heavenly instructions will be the ones who construct the new world after the collapse. The selected will emerge silently for now, but will soon shout. Now hidden, but soon to shine. Your current obedience will serve as a stepping stone to future leadership. Do not wait for evidence. You are the evidence. This storm is not your adversary. It's the purifier, the test, and the invitation. Those who comply will bear the consequences. Yes, but also with knowledge, strength, and grandeur. You weren't born to blend in. Before you breathe your first breath, you were designed to survive the darkness and rise with the morning. Your soul was taunted with a crucial duty. You were not put here at random. You did not happen to find yourself in this war-torn era by chance. God glanced into the earth's chronology, knew what was coming, and purposefully selected you to exist. Now, you see pandemonium all around you. It is not here to break you. It has come to awaken you. Every storm, every war, every global catastrophe, they are not distractions. These are activations. You are being called not just to live, but also to fulfill your destiny. The battle in the Middle East did not start overnight. It started in the sky, and you were sent as a symbol of brightness. Your talents, sensitivity, and grief are all part of the tool set God has placed inside you for this season. This is when the assignment becomes active. That is why you feel so restless. This is why previous identities are disappearing. That is why you can no longer pretend to fit in where you once felt at ease. You are being drawn by something greater, something deeper, holy. Do not disregard it. The time to hide from your own grandeur is past. You don't need to know every step. You only need to say yes. You simply need to stop shrinking. You just have to accept the truth that this world is not your master. God is. The conflict has started, but so has your mission. And the ones who ascend today are those who take a courageous step into divine destiny. Even when the earth shakes, so many of you are wondering why everything is falling apart. Why the unexpected pressure? Why the breakdowns? What about the loss and isolation? What if it isn't punishment? What if it is a refinement? When gold is thrown in a fire, it is cleansed rather than cursed. You aren't being destroyed. You are being made undeniable. The more selected you are, the more heat you must bear. This isn't because God is unkind. He trusts you. He sees things you cannot. He understands the degree of impact you were designed for. And impact does not come cheaply. It will cost you your comfort. It is costly to continue your old routines. It costs your illusions. Fire destroys what cannot survive in the following chapter. Struggling does not make you weak. You are not broken for feeling overwhelmed. You're being formed. The weight is sacred. Shaking is purposeful. The losses were surgical. Heaven is eliminating all that was weakening you, even if it meant losing what you formerly considered stable. This is not a collapse. It is a correction. It's calibration. Soon, you'll understand why this fire was necessary. Soon, you'll be standing in rooms that you were previously unquote defined for, filled with power you didn't deserve since it was created in fire. And when they ask how you got there, you'll grin and answer, I didn't make it. I was reborn within it. Loneliness is one of the most devastating weapons in this conflict. And in this season, God is permitting some amounts of solitude, not because he has abandoned you, but because he is attempting to reduce the noise between you and him. This loneliness is not punishment. This is heavenly placing. You're being moved aside so you can hear clearly. Many voices have attempted to define, divert, and drown your intuition. So God, in His pity, eliminates them. He shuts the doors. He silences crowds. He silences the phone because He understands that only in silence can you really learn who you are and who He is. And once you hear Him clearly, you will never again settle for being ordinary. Heaven is closer than you realize in your loneliness. Your tears are being gathered. Your silence is being heard. Your anguish is being transformed into power. You are not abandoned. You are being veiled while others are distracted by commotion. You are being fashioned by heavenly connection. The cocoon may seem like a prison, but it is really preparing for flight. Do not hurry to break the stillness. Don't avoid isolation. This is a holy area. This is where angels encircle you. This is where revelation appears. And when you emerge, you'll learn you weren't alone. You were alone with God. Everyone's saying it. This is the end time. But let me tell you, this isn't only about endings. This is about disclosing. God is not just shutting down the systems of man. He is exposing the timeless ones, the everlasting souls, the divine disruptors, and those who wield ancient power that dates back to before the earth's foundation. This includes you. You've always felt strange, not better, just older, deeper tuned into what the rest of the world does not comprehend. That was not an accident. You belong to a generation of timeless individuals, not because of your age, but because of your spiritual heritage. You are here to remind this world of its lost divinity by your words, prayers, presence, and quiet. This is not the end. This is when the secret bloodlines of the spirit world begin to emerge. Dreamers, healers, prophets, and fighters. You are not here to react, but to disclose what has been hidden inside you for ages. You were born for this exact time, not to observe, but to mold it. So don't shrink back. Do not cower. Do not wait for someone else to speak. The earth is aching for the appearance of the eternal ones. And now is the moment for you. Have you heard this? Listen with your heart rather than your ears. The cry of the ground. The atmosphere is sobbing. The wind conveys pain. The trees moan with spiritual strain. The waters are in upheaval. All of creation is not just changing. It's calling. It is beckoning for you. This planet was never intended to be ruled by computers and systems. It was intended to be guided by people whose hearts are tuned to the divine. The earth recalls the voice of truth. The earth acknowledges the footprints of people who walk in harmony. This is why you're being summoned. This is why you can no longer ignore the pull. The earth recognizes your name. You're not little. You're not late. You're not unqualified. You are the one for whom the whole earth prays. Not to dominate, but to repair, to restore balance and unleash tranquility, to stroll into battle zones with silence, to stare at turmoil and unleash light. That is not fantasy. That is your design. When you start moving with purpose, the ground underneath you shifts. The earth isn't waiting for another warlord or politician. The earth is waiting for you to remember who you are, to accept the call, and to assume your role as a guardian of creation. You may feel overwhelmed by the globe, yet the biggest fight is not taking place in the skies or on the ground. It happens inside of you every day. Your mind is a battleground. Every minute, your ideas are challenged. Darkness whispers, you're powerless. Light counters, you're designed for this. And in the midst of those voices, your soul struggles to decide which to trust. This is more than simply emotional upheaval. It is spiritual warfare. The adversary is not seeking your body. He is wanting your alignment. Because if he can take away your clarity, attention, and conviction in your task, nothing else matters. You will be neutralized from inside. However, if you retake your inner footing and dominate yourself, no external event will be able to beat you. It's time to become the ruler of your own temple. It's time to quit letting fear define your destiny. Speak up loudly. This is my spirit. This is my area. I like to hear the truth. Take back your tranquility. Reclaim your time. Reduce the number of distractions. Fuel the inner fire. You must recognize that the throne of God is inside you. Guard, govern, and defend it with all you've got. Because when you overcome your fears, doubts, and scars, you become untouchable. The conflict outside may rage, but your inner refuge stays constant, since the true triumph was always an inside work. A sound that is not produced by devices or humans is starting to reverberate over the world. It is the voice of heaven, the frequency of alignment, and the vibration of divine truth that cuts through the cacophony. Most people will not hear it. Many people will be quite busy. However, those who have hushed their souls, those who have accepted the call to conceal, will hear and follow it. This sound is not just music. It's an invitation to migrate, shift, and relocate physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Some of you may be asked to quit jobs, cities, and perhaps nations. Others will be urged to start something completely new, not for applause, but for proper alignment. The music of heaven is more than simply inspiration. It is education. Only those who have had spiritual training will be able to decipher it. Preparation is more important now than ever. This is not about getting more religious. It is about being more receptive, fine-tuning your heart, remove your distractions, live light so you can move rapidly. Because when the music arrives, there will be no time pause. You'll either move with heaven or be stuck in a world that's going apart. This sound is coming. Some of you have already heard it in dreams, in quiet, and in startling bursts of clarity. Don't shrug it off. Don't try to explain it away. This is divine guidance. And those who hear it and follow will find themselves just where heaven needs them to be. You were not born only to endure this existence. You were born to shatter the bonds that have kept your family captive for centuries. Depression, dread, addiction, and poverty. Silence. They did not begin with you, but they may conclude with you. You are not just battling for your future. You're battling for your lineage. Redemption. Every decision you make echoes forward and backward. Your ancestors are watching. Your descendants are waiting. You are the link between the ancient and the new. You were born into the flames not because you were weak, but because God knew you couldn't burn. You would ascend. You would change the tale. You would purify the name before releasing the blessing. This fight is old, but so is your spirit. You already know, down deep inside your soul.